The notice of election is one of the most important pieces of documentation and critical criteria for a hospice getting paid and getting paid appropriately. The notice of election that has to be filed within that first 5 days after the patient has been admitted to hospice or has elected hospice and the election becomes effective has to be accepted at the Medicare MAC within that 5-day time period, not just transmitted. So without it being accepted within that 5 days, the hospice will be penalized from a reimbursement standpoint and will not be paid or reimbursed for every day up until the day that that notice of election is actually accepted. There are exceptions, of course, that apply. We've also experienced issues where the notice of election is late because of the fact that another hospice has not filed yet their final claim or their notice of termination and revocation of the patient. If, for example, that hospice files their final claim in this process and it's 3 weeks before you check again to see that they have now filed their final claim and you file yours, you will not get that exception because it's been 3 weeks since they finally met the requirement. You should have filed it the very next day. If diagnosis codes are incorrect on the notice of election, you are not going to go back to that notice of election and change any diagnosis codes, because if you cancel the notice of election and have to then put in the notice of election again, you are going to be penalized for the time period that that notice of election is late. If the diagnosis codes are incorrect, you simply leave them on the notice of election as they are, and then when you get to the filing of the monthly claims, that's when you would correct and input any diagnosis codes that need to be corrected from that notice of election.